What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So with the current success that Nintendo is seeing in the movie theater, it's not too surprising they would also work to link it to some of their other products. And in fact, it appears that's what they're doing with a new Switch 2 bundle that's been announced, and we'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Sony delisting more games, like hundreds of other games, and when you see them, it kind of makes sense, although one in particular is certainly making headlines. And we have a bit of an update, a concerning update, we'll say, around the Mass Effect Amazon TV series, because some of the things getting out there certainly have longtime fans and gamers a bit concerned about how to be handled, but we'll go over all of that and more. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Guys, every weekday morning, we're here, 8 a.m. Eastern time, going over the world of gaming news, trying to keep you up to date. So if you don't get a notification in the morning, just know there's probably a video here for you. And we're gonna start today with Amazon Prime, specifically Amazon Prime Gaming, since every month, if you have Amazon Prime, they'll just kind of throw you games that you can then claim on places like Steam, GOG, or the Epic Game Store. And there is a list of titles now that's been revealed. We can see this is over on VGC, and they did a good job kind of lining it up here with the different dates and also the storefront that it's available on. I think for me, the headliner is just it's XCOM Enemy Unknown Complete Pack. And yes, it's an older game, but it is an awesome game. It is a classic, and it is one that I recommend people check out, especially since the code is for GOG, so it's DRM free. And if you already have Amazon Prime, it's like, I mean, you may as well go ahead and claim it one way or the other since you're already paying for the service, might as well get as much value as you can. From there, though, we have Total War, Pharaoh Dynasties, those are available now. April 9th, A Rat's Quest and King of Retail. April 16th, Snake Core, Monster Harvest, Detective Agency. And then April 23rd, Neocab, The Pale Beyond. And then moving to April 30th, we have Kiniku Niku, Super Muscle Cat, Fantasy General, and Pinball Spire. So again, nothing too crazy beyond what I was mentioning with XCOM, but definitely worth checking out if you recognize or are curious about any of those games and you have Amazon Prime. You have access to them. You just have to then go claim the key that they provide you on that storefront. Also, here's an interesting twist. We have a price drop on technology. An entire system, and it's hard to believe, but in fact, over on Amazon, you can see we have the Asus ROG Xbox Ally. That is not the Ally X, all right? This is the technically lower end model, but it has dropped from $600 down to $500, and in a world of 650 or so game consoles, this isn't bad, right? It's $50 more here than what we have for the Switch 2. Coming in, though, at $500 with its current specifications, it's okay. I think the pricing now at $500 makes more sense seeing it here, and it is right now half off of what the Ally X, the more capable model is. So because of the fact that this is a pretty good, I'd say even emulation device, but also able to play some current games, just of course turned down a bit, maybe set at something like 720p, it's actually worth looking into at that price. And even for just PC gaming handhelds, this would be considered on more of the budget lower end side. Oh, and it looks like we have an event to look forward to this week coming to us from Level 5. You can see over on their website with the announcement, Level 5 Vision 2026. That's Friday, April 10th. They have 21 Japan Standard Time. They're in terms of Eastern Time, they're 13 hours ahead. So 8 a.m. Eastern, I believe, on that one. But nonetheless, here they'll just be giving us some information and news on upcoming Level 5 titles. For me, at this point, the one that I'm the most interested, I know people are saying Professor Layton, and that's fine. I gotta see what's going on with this Deca Police. This one feels like it's been a long time in the making now, so I'd like to hear that it's coming out this year, so that's mostly what I'm honing in on here. But of course, keep an eye out for this, and I'll keep you guys up to date in case there's any major announcements here on April 10th. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo and their Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's seeing tremendous success, as we've already mentioned, at the box office. Apparently right now, in terms of like franchises that have had animated movies released that are more than 350 million in its debut weekend, the Mario movie and the Mario Galaxy movie, they're only two that have ever done that, like back to back. So it's impressive stuff there. But if you go and see the movie, you'll probably come out the other side of it going, man, they really showed a lot there. And then you go, oh yeah, they also showed a lot of stuff that is then related to their products. And that's what I mean when I say it was more of a product that Nintendo put together with Illumination than like a piece of cinema that was aiming to really make a splash at the Oscars or something. No, it was absolutely a product that Nintendo made here. And because of this, of course, they're going to be linking it to all kinds of other things that you can experience by, yes, giving them money. And here's the thing. It made sense to have some kind of promotion going on for people who don't have a Switch 2 right now. But of course, leave the theater like, man, I want to play something Mario related, maybe something Mario Galaxy related. Well, we can see over on their website, they have this promotion that is starting April 12th. And if you don't have a Switch 2 and you are someone who's like, man, I want to play Mario Galaxy, I mean, this, I guess, would be a deal at least to take advantage of. So they have actually a lot of explanation here for what is effectively a promotion that they've technically done just with other games. They say through May 9th, so you're going to get roughly a month out of this promotion. You can save $20 on a new Switch 2 system and a whole universe of adventures when you purchase a Switch 2 system and the Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 game at the same time. Effectively, what's happening is they're making the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 double pack $50 to go along with the $450 Switch 2, so it is essentially a $500 bundle, which again is what they've done with multiple games. It's funny, the explanation, because they say a lot to just say, hey guys, there's a new $500 bundle, it's Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and the Switch 2. And it says it works for either physical or digital. So just putting that out there, if you want to have it like available just on a cartridge, you can do so with this promotion. I mean, look, the games are very good. $50. I think we saw it at $70 and we're like, whoa, okay, that feels pretty expensive, Nintendo. But then people went, if they were $20 or $25 each, $50, that makes more sense. Well, here it is. Technically, if you don't have a Switch 2, yes, you can get them for the $50 as a bundle, like together, for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Very, very good games. I say top tier even 3D Mario experiences. And this, I think, is just kind of the start of tying the movie in to some of the different products that you'll be seeing from Nintendo, with the other one clearly being Star Fox. And there's word going around that this could be the week where Star Fox gets revealed, so it could happen today even. But I'm kind of thinking maybe next week. Like, you want to get at least a little bit away from the movie, let it have some time in the theater, although really at any point, because people will be going to see the Mario movie for, I mean, the next month or so, right? And of course, coming out of the theater like, hey, that Fox character is really, really cool. What's he got going on maybe in games? And it hasn't been much. You know, you got to go all the way back to I mean, you can say the Wii U, but for the last original new title, I mean, the GameCube. So not exactly a ton of like Star Fox games out there to pick from. And that's why it'd be a lot of fun to see the big new Star Fox game get revealed, as there's still a lot of like interest and hype around the movie. They tie it into that. Kids especially go, oh yeah, I want to check out this new Star Fox game that Fox is in. And then we're off to the races, building up a new generation of fans for Star Fox. So that's my hope there. But yes, this makes a ton of sense for Nintendo to continue tying the movie and its success to some of these different games and products away from the movie. So I would expect more and more of that as we go along. Next up, let's talk about Sony continuing to delist different PlayStation Store games. And look, the PlayStation Store, much like how Nintendo with their eShop, it's not great when you just look at the recent releases and you just say, show me everything. And it's just a ton of just shovelware and junk. It's very much a ton of simulator games, a ton of knockoff games, trying to get as close as they can to the official title, and at times using assets that might just be stolen. And many of these, I'm sure now especially, are being made more and more possible by AI. So yes, they are very much conveyor belt, like just assembly line manufactured. And that's why you see some companies somehow in 3 years make more than 1,000 games and put them on the PlayStation Store. People have been calling for Sony to look into this more and, I mean, really curate the store so it's a better experience to browse. And they have been doing that, all right? And in fact, recently you can see, this is over on Push Square, saying, news first emerged on PSN profiles, but we've been able to corroborate the information. Looks like the catalogs of Welding Bite, Go Game Console Publisher, and VRC Forge have all been wiped. Okay, so they mentioned some of the games that were removed include Jesus Simulator, Watermelon Fruits Puzzle, and Card Shop Game Store TCG Simulator. So that one in particular, I looked at and said, hold on a minute, I thought that was pretty popular on Steam, right? And so I look into the one that they're quoting here, and then I look at the one that's on Steam, and it's not the same at all. So that's what I mean when we see these knockoffs happen. It tends to be they look at a game that is very, very popular, say on Steam, like this TCG Card Shop Simulator that was done by OP Neon Games, and then you have a company like, what was that, VRC Forge, that throws this thing together and then drops it on the store, trying to mimic and really just trick people, honestly, into buying the game. So it makes sense why Sony's going through these and like, okay, yeah, none of that, hundreds of games. The one, though, that has made headlines is Jesus Simulator, and RGT was talking about it, he even made a video on it, and it doesn't look like a very good game, but to me, it has to be more than just not being a good game, because, you can have bad games that should stay on the storefront because they maybe are original titles and maybe just didn't review well, but then you do have games where you're like, man, those look like asset flips, and they are there just to try to take $8 or $9 from a person and then kind of move on. So that's the thing, and that's always been the question. Where's the line for some of this stuff? Is it just that it's a bad game? Is it that it's a low quality game? Or is it just the game is completely manufactured simulator games, same style over and over again, just changing different skins in order to appear different enough? That's the tough part. And I think Sony now, especially, I'm probably using like machine learning and different things to try to spot and pick out some of these different companies that are doing this, where there's 1,000+ games that are submitted in a couple of years. Those, I'm sure, are really starting to pop up on the radar more and more. But there we go, just more games being delisted and pulled down from PlayStation Store. And I do think most people out there are probably looking at this as it being a good thing. Here's hoping it doesn't spiral out of control when we do see games that are actually like good and should be there accidentally pulled down, just as Sony's trying to work all this out. Next up, let's talk about this Mass Effect show that apparently Amazon is doing, and this is one that went around, and people are very, very concerned about how it's being handled. Look, Mass Effect has not been in a good place for a while. There is a lot of hope that maybe, somehow, some way, after Dragon Age Veilguard, BioWare can show up and kind of fix everything for it. I mean, they went through Anthem, Dragon Age Veilguard. This does seem like it's going to be their last shot, trying to revive Mass Effect and put it in a better place than where it was with something like Andromeda. And yeah, part of that is trying to find other people to experience the franchise maybe for the first time. And we've seen it works really well if you can get up on the big screen, or if you can end up in one of these services like Amazon Prime Video and have a really, really good series. So we can see this. This is over on IGN saying, the Ankler reports that Peter Friedlander, who stepped in as head of global TV Amazon MGM Studios in October, has set about reading scripts so he can make film decisions on Prime Video's many in-development projects. One of these is Mass Effect, which, based on the reports, still sounds like it could go either way. So there is a possibility that the Mass Effect series just gets canceled. But get this, Friedlander has apparently requested rewrites to make Mass Effect, which the Ankler described as a pricey genre drama, more appealing to non-gamers. So I had to look at this and go, what does that mean? Non-gamers? Well, it'd be people who didn't play Mass Effect. So if there is a lot of writing and assumptions made that, people who are watching this are deeply familiar with the lore or the universe, or even some of the characters, we don't necessarily have to spell out a bunch of stuff, because they'll look and go, oh yeah, I know this character from Mass Effect 1 or 2 or what have you. And so they can kind of just get past that part and focus on other things about the story. So when you have a series like this and you're bringing in people who have never experienced it, it is a lot of, hey, let's do the backstory for this. Let's narrate stuff that's happening on screen so they completely understand it. And if you are a fan of the series, it can kind of make you feel like they look at you like you're dumb. And really, it's just they're appealing to a general audience that has no idea what Mass Effect is before this. Maybe they're scrolling through Amazon Prime Video and they see it and they're like, oh, cool, sci-fi, let's check it out. But I do think this one in particular, I mean, sci-fi outright, I do think there's a lot of crossover, go figure, between gamers and people who watch sci-fi movies. I don't think that's shocking. So I don't really know what the rewrites are. That's still a very general statement. But it's not exactly great news for people who are fans of Mass Effect, because they're already going in, again, as fans of Mass Effect, and they just want it to be good. They don't necessarily care if it does bring in more people or if it does make money. They just want a series that's not going to be terrible and bomb after the first season and get away from, Mass Effect. Like, if they turn something in that's not Mass Effect, that would be disastrous, especially for fans. So, I mean, we're just seeing if it's even going to get greenlit or go forward through development at this point. And that's kind of where we are now. So let me know what you think when you hear the idea of them rewriting it for non-gamers. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about an update for Star Wars Eclipse that doesn't sound great when you start to realize the game that they are now relying on. But first, let's take a look. This is a report from Insider Gaming, where they say, as first mentioned during the latest episode of Insider Gaming Weekly, development on Star Wars Eclipse has been very slow going. One source even mentioned the fact that the team had been making very little progress over months. For what it's worth, a good portion of the game has been completed, but for what they still need to wrap up, sources say it hasn't been going all that well. Quote, the game at this stage is still looking to be years off from completion. At this stage, the long-term outlook is less driven by creative capabilities and more by financial viability. Should spellcasters fail commercially, NetEase is expected to reevaluate its commitment to the studio and could opt to discontinue further investment. Both NetEase and Quantic Dream, the source says, are really relying on Spellcasters Chronicles, which entered early access in February, to bring in revenue that can then be spent on Eclipse's development. See, I think we all remember this because I looked at this announcement when Quantic Dream showed up and was like, hey guys, I know you're really curious about what's happening with Star Wars Eclipse, but check this out. Spellcasters Chronicles. And no one really cared. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? What is this? And it's, it's a live service, but like MOBA, hero shooter style game or something. And I mean, I took one look at it and said, I feel like I've seen this game 100 times already. And I don't think I was necessarily alone, because while they're relying on the success of this thing, it's only on PC from what I've seen, right? It's an early access. So we go, okay, well, we can see what the player base is like. And guys, I mean, over on SteamDB, there's 62 people playing right now. The 24-hour peak is 78 players. That's not a game that's going to fund another game. It's not a Fortnite or something where it's like, hey, we can do all kinds of stuff, with that backing us. No, this looks like a game that's probably costing them money even to run. So now the concern, for me anyway, when I look at this, the concern now is Star Wars Eclipse going to come out? Because you can have a large amount of the game completed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it actually releases. And if NetEase is going, hey, the Spellcasters game really isn't working and it's not bringing in money, we have to really think about what we're doing with Star Wars Eclipse and how much more money we want to put in. Remember, we already saw something like this happen with Nagoshi Studio and Gang of Dragons, and NetEase was like, now we're good. And it sounded like they still needed tens of millions of dollars to get the thing to the finish line. So to me right now, NetEase is definitely going around reevaluating a lot of these games that they have investments in and deciding how much further they want to go. And if Spellcasters is any kind of indication, that Star Wars Eclipse is still years away, honestly, the concern really does shift to if it's coming out at all. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, are you currently subscribed to Amazon Prime? 61% say yes, 39% say no. And I saw people in the comments like, oh, wait, hold on, what's going on? Like, sometimes I'll do these polls that then lead into stories that are happening in gaming. And, I was going through the list of different titles in the Amazon gaming thing where they just give you the codes and stuff as I was looking at XCOM. And I realized there are a lot of people who probably have Amazon Prime or in a household where their parents have Amazon Prime or somebody does, and they have access to the other parts of it, the video streaming, games, and they don't realize they're getting these games. And I think about that along with people who are looking for different entry points into gaming, just finding things to play. And that might be one of them, because you might have it and not realize it. So it was something I was thinking about and might look into it a bit more in a video, because I'm thinking about a series just for cheap gaming alternatives, because man, it's expensive to have fun. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Just Another Lady saying, I love the movie, plus got the popcorn bucket. I attempted the popcorn bucket. They had it on when you walk up to the concession stand, they have all the screens in front of the registers, and the Yoshi popcorn bucket was one of the slides or videos that showed up. So I saw it. They didn't have any though. They're like, nah, it's gone. We have Project Hail Mary and some other popcorn buckets, but apparently Yoshi was very, very popular. Someone said is just gone after apparently like 2 days. That's just fine. But then I was curious. Looking online, I assumed it would be marked up a lot. It's actually not. So let me know how much it costs, but I thought it was like a $45 or $50 thing for the popcorn bucket, and it's expensive. It's the movie theater. It's $8 for a soda. But I was thinking, well, maybe they'll triple the price on eBay. No, it's 70 or 80 bucks on eBay. Not that I'm buying it, but I'm just a little surprised it didn't get more out of control. Although maybe there are just a lot of popcorn buckets out there, and my theater just happened to go through their initial allotment immediately. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you want to check out the latest episode of the Spawncast, where we spent a couple of hours talking about all kinds of stuff in gaming from the previous week. I'll leave that right below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.